If you can't handle the heat, then step aside, because this firestorm is just getting started. In the world of professional sports, especially a league still fighting for mainstream legitimacy like the WNBA, public perception is everything. And when the president of the Indiana Fever, Kelly Krauskopf, case to make a series of off-the-cuff remarks that appeared to downplay Caitlin Clark's importance to the franchise, the reaction wasn't just loud, it was volcanic. Because if you were fine accepting the roses and applause when Fever fans were cheering every move, clapping at every decision, and practically building a shrine to your leadership, then you better be ready to take the heat when those same fans are outraged, disillusioned, and demanding answers. What unfolded next wasn't your typical case of fans being sensitive. It was a full-blown revolt, sparked by a growing sense that the Fever's leadership was either willfully tone-deaf or tragically short-sighted. The comments, now making their way around every social media platform, weren't leaked from a private call. They were said openly, confidently, as if no one in the building realized they were dismissing the very person who saved their franchise from obscurity. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a generational icon. Talent who turned Indiana from WNBA afterthought to sold-out sensation practically overnight. And yet, the front office decided it was a good time to downplay her impact in the name of brand development. Let that sink in. The same organization that was playing to half-empty gyms just a year ago is now worried about being too dependent on the star that made them relevant. It's like McDonald's publicly deciding they don't want to rely too much on the Big Mac while still plastering its image on every billboard. It's like Apple announcing they'd rather not be known for the iPhone anymore. This was the same kind of self-sabotaging logic. And it sent a clear offensive message to Fever fans. We're fine using Caitlin to get attention. Don't expect us to acknowledge that she's the reason you're paying attention in the first place. The fallout was swift. Fans were irate, filling social media with demands for accountability. They weren't just annoyed, they were furious. People who had bought tickets, tuned in to nationally televised games, and spent their money on Fever gear were now left, wondering whether the team even deserved Clark, and they had good reason to question it. The leadership spoke of building a brand like Apple, something enduring, iconic. But instead of understanding how Apple became Apple by embracing its revolutionary products, the Fever sounded more concerned about diluting their biggest asset, to keep everyone else in the building feeling equally important. Here's the thing. Fans aren't stupid. They know who sells the tickets. They know who drives the ratings. And they certainly know that prior to Caitlin Clark's arrival, the Indiana Fever were barely a blip on the national radar. The team was invisible. Empty seats, barely there. TV numbers, and next to no relevance. Then came Clark. Suddenly, Indiana was leading nightly sports coverage. Suddenly, the WNBA had record-breaking viewership. And yet, somehow, the Fever brass decided now was the time to reframe the narrative, to make it about team building and balanced branding. You don't become a global franchise by downplaying the very reason you became relevant. In the first place, ask Chicago what Michael Jordan meant. Ask Los Angeles how they built Showtime around Magic Johnson. Ask the Bulls if they would have reached the same heights without leaning fully into MJ's once-in-a-generation impact. Instead of building everything around Caitlin Clark, instead of embracing her skill set, promoting her personality, and designing a system to let her thrive, the Fever have been busy sending mixed signals. On the court, they've run schemes that often seem designed to stifle her game. Off the court, they've now issued comments that suggest they're afraid of her gravitational pull, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. Fans are already frustrated watching Clark struggle to carry a team that doesn't seem to know how to utilize her. They see her getting hacked with no fouls, teammates ignoring her on open looks, and a system that dulls her shine instead of maximizing it. And just when tensions are already high, the team's leadership decides to throw gasoline on the fire by basically saying, "We'd prefer to not rely on her anyway." What exactly did Kelly Krauskopf say? In an interview that was meant to highlight future ambitions for the Fever brand, she mentioned wanting to create something like Apple, a brand that lasts, a team-first culture. That in itself isn't the problem. but the tone and implication that the team must be cautious not to lean too heavily on foundational players like Clark and Aliyah Boston was read by fans as a thinly veiled attempt to downplay Clark's influence. You don't accidentally refer to a generational star as foundational in the same breath you talk about avoiding reliance on individuals. That's a deliberate choice of language, one that fans noticed, in the response. A public relations nightmare? Posts flooded in from fans calling the comments insulting, tone deaf, and a slap in the face to the very reason they started watching the team in the first place. Analysts chimed in. Commentators ripped the logic. Even players and staff reportedly felt uncomfortable. It wasn't just bad optics. It was bad leadership. The kind of blunder that makes superstars second-guess their long-term plans. The kind of mistake that makes you wonder if the Fever truly deserve the moment they've been gifted. Because make no mistake, this was a gift. A generational star fell into their laps at the top of the draft. She brought media coverage, corporate, sponsorships, and national interest. She brought fans back to a league that desperately needed a spark. And now, those same fans are looking around and wondering if Caitlyn's prime years are going to be wasted on a franchise that doesn't know what to do with her. The fact that Fever leadership seems more concerned with equal distribution of credit than with maximizing wins says everything. And here's the irony. In trying not to rely too much on Clark, they may end up pushing her away. Fans are already talking about what could happen when her contract is up. Could she bolt for a different market, one that actually values her presence? One that builds a system around her, one that wants to win, not just manage egos. In places like New York, Boston, or even Las Vegas, the media would be relentless. Ownership would be under pressure to deliver or be replaced. In Indiana, they seem to think they can float by on outdated thinking and half-measured praise. And the greatest twist of all is that this whole mess could have been avoided with one simple truth: build around your star. That's it. That's the formula. It's the reason the Bulls became global. The reason the Warriors rode Curry to dynastic heights. The reason the Lakers, Spurs, and Celtics know how to win. You don't diminish greatness. You elevate it. You build a castle around it. You don't tuck it away so others don't feel left out. Because in sports, greatness doesn't just happen. It's cultivated, celebrated, and used as the engine for everything else. But now, instead of showing fans that they're focused on winning, the Fever's leadership has sparked doubt. They've made Clark look expendable. They've made themselves look ungrateful. Whether they realize it or not, this isn't just about one press conference. It's about trust. The trust of fans, the trust of players, the trust of an entire league looking for its next icon. And if Indiana keeps fumbling that trust, don't be surprised when someone else swoops in and gives Caitlin Clark the kingdom she deserves. What do you think? Should teams ever downplay their superstars for the sake of balanced branding? Or is Indiana shooting itself in the foot trying to manage Caitlin Clark instead of unleashing her? Let us know in the comments. Hit like if you think Clark deserves better. Subscribe for more unfiltered takes and deep dives that cut through the corporate noise, because here we call it like it is, and we never bench greatness.